Welcome all. In 1957, Martha Karua was born, and it is her story. Born in a family of 8, of 4 boys and 4 girls. She has actually eclipsed Kalonzo to be named Raila Odinga's running mate. In this video, I'll try to delve deep because we have analyzed on Raila Odinga's running mate choice. In 1992, Martha Karua became the first woman lawyer to be elected as a member of parliament in Gachagua. And she was elected under Mwai Kibaki's party, the Democratic Party, that Kibaki formed after stepping out of KANU in the eve of, after the repeal of Section 2A that allowed for multi-party democracy in Kenya. Martha Karua had initially joined Kenneth Matiba's Ford Asili party. And remember, Ford Asili was birthed after a split between Kenneth Matiba and Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, which was the oldest of initial Ford. From that, Martha Karua's political career was shaped, worked through KANU, and was part of Raila Odinga's, or part of the KANU Rainbow Coalition, or the not KANU, the Rainbow Coalition, in the 2002, that then will see Mwai Kibaki elected as the president. So she stuck with the Kibaki until the 2009, when she was appointed, after she was appointed the Minister of Legal and Justice Affairs. She resigned after a fallout with Kibaki when Kibaki allegedly had appointed some judges without her input, despite the fact that she was the minister in charge. Now, this is someone that has both been with Raila in the trenches, and she was part of the Second Liberation Team. And amongst the Second Liberation Team that are still playing active role in politics with Raila Odinga, while his colleagues like James Orengo are going to the governorship seat. Kiraitu Murungi is also back in the governorship races. Mukesa Kitui is going to Senate through Bungoma, and so many of them, including Kivude Kibwana, who has served as a governor in Makueni. Now, I want us to clip down the reason why Raila settled on Martha Karua, or let's say why Martha Karua eclipsed Kalonzo Musyoka to be Raila Odinga's running mate. There were only 2 choices for Raila Odinga. It was either Raila Odinga to go to Mount Kenya or Raila Odinga to pick Kalonzo Musyoka. Those are 2 options, 2 different options. Kalonzo Musyoka would mean that Raila leaves the Mount Kenya equation, but Martha Karua brings in the Mount Kenya equation. We're going to delve deep into that. There are 3 narratives that I want us to debunk first before we delve into the 4 reasons. The first narrative is the reform credentials that Martha Karua has been picked on reform credentials. That is there, but I think that cannot eclipse Kalonzo Musyoka. Martha Karua was with Raila in the trenches, and at some point he even mobilized lawyers to help Raila Odinga when Raila Odinga was to be taken, I think, to a police station somewhere. And that was in the 1990s. Between the 2002 and the 2007 general election, they were not that much close, and then they worked in the Grand Coalition government, but there was that fallout when Martha Karua stepped out of government. Kalonzo Musyoka also has that credential with Raila Odinga in the 2013 to the 2017 general election, because between that time there was the Firimbi operation, and that operation is very clear in my mind because that was my first assignment when I worked as an intern in a community radio station somewhere inaugurated. So it was called Firimbi Operation. The IBC must go of the 2015. That one I remember very well. And Kalonzo was also part of the struggle. So that one I don't think will be the big question to eclipse Kalonzo Musyoka. Number two, I also want to debunk a narrative that has also been dominant, that Raila Odinga was a bit disturbed by Kalonzo Musyoka's statement, even after saying Kalonzo Tosha, after saying Raila Tosha. So I really appreciate that at some point, Kalonzo said, I will impeach Raila Odinga. Secondly, he also mentioned that I will start campaigning immediately I'm the president. Three, Raila Odinga will not become president, is not picked as an Runningmate. Now, these three statements have been so dominant, and we have analyzed that this will also be part of it. But I think when it comes to the question of the Runningmate, it's so complicated. And I listened to Raila Odinga's presidential spokesperson, Makau Mukua, saying that he has held closed-door meetings with Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. And in his own words, Kalonzo said that we as politicians to make these statements, and you cannot clap us down or not to say, because if it is that, then even Martha Karua cannot work with Raila Odinga. Even Uhuru Kenyatta cannot work with Raila Odinga. So that has been there. And I also agree that Kalonzo Musyoka was trying to bargain. And he had known by all indications that Raila Odinga was rigid on the position of running mate this time round to change and go to another person. So Raila did not, and I want to mention here, for people who support Kalonzo Musyoka and people who are within Azimio space, that Raila did not pick Martha Karua because Kalonzo Musyoka is a bad choice. Kalonzo Musyoka equally fits the bill. Number three, there is also the other narrative on Karua's BBI bill. The Building Bridges initiative Martha Karua was part of the legal team that shot it in the foot, especially in the in the courts. So this might be seen as something that will set him up against the voters. But in my understanding, the fact that he opposed it and he is in Azimio means that if it can be revived in a way, he will bring some sort of some sanity. Secondly, the political refiguration is there. Even some people who opposed who were supporting BBI, like Moses Wetangula and Musalia Mudavadi, has now crossed over the other side. So the BBI question cannot be used to pin Martha Karua on this. So I was just trying to tackle those three aspects that are playing out. Now, I want us to look at the main reasons why Raila Odinga ultimately had to settle on Martha Karua. But before I do that, I want to humbly request you to subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and also give us your feedback. Now, are you staying within Nairobi and you have problems with power blackouts? Then you need an alternative power backup system. Installed company has amazing offers on alternative power backup systems, and they can integrate the solar power they provide, the solar power solution they provide with your water heating system, and this can help reduce your electricity bill. Now, what you need to do, you need to contact Gidhiomi, who is the contact person. His number is 0722 818 883. 0722 818 883. And also, they have amazing packages all the way from 195,000 to 125,000. So check out there. Why do you think why do you think Martha Karua eclipsed Kalonzo Musyoka? In this election, there is something that is hidden in the ballot box. And that is called the economic question. The economy has bogged Kenyans, and even though I am one person who believes that Kenyans don't vote on this, On the election day, they will actually forget about the price of fuel because on that day they don't even move. That day they will forget about the price of bread. They will forget about corruption and all that. But economy is at the center of this election. So that is number one. And by the way, this is why Deputy President William Ruto opted for Rigathi Gachagua. I don't want to go there. Now, the reason why Raila had to go for Martha Karua is he wants to diversify the economic call with personality credentials. Because in Martha Karua, she can, Raila Odinga is a double-edged sword. With the two of them, have good personality credentials. Personality credentials in this sense is Raila Karua vis-a-vis William Ruto Rigathi Gachagua. And many analysts have actually opined that Gachagua is dented. So the personality credentials will also play a very critical role, because if you look at the latest opinion poll that was done by Nation, it was showing that a big percentage of people that supported Raila Odinga were supporting Raila Odinga based on his experience. Now that experience of him with Martha Karua brings the personality credentials. However, on the other end, there is also the economy question. This is how I want to execute this this point here. Number one, when Martha Karua speaks in rallies, and when you listen to her speak, she speaks to the heart of Raila Odinga as a comrade. Even from day one, she was calling Raila Odinga comrade. She says the way Raila Odinga, this election will be won, people need to vote for people who have ever sacrificed for this country. She speaks to that. People who has ever sacrificed for this country. If someone have never done anything for this country, that person should not be voted. Even though that is going to instruct a demographic of the middle class, the people between 35 to 60, they listen to the voice of Martha Karua, and Martha Karua speaks about that. But then there is another passive. I want to say that in reverse, the active voting block is that 30 to 60. But the passive voting block is the youth. They're passive voting block because they're only active on campaigns, but on the voting day, they aren't going to vote. So, Raila Odinga, what they will have to do with Martha Karua is, one, when Martha Karua talks about the credentials of their ticket, Raila Odinga must then delve on the economy revolution. Raila Odinga will then have to speak more of the Baba care. There is also Mama care now that they also have Martha Karua. You'll have to speak with the recognition of prayer learning, this one that I am mentioning on supporting the Yokali sector. They have to mention the 6,000 stipend. So that blend is going to make a very good case. They're going to put a very good case for the Kenyan voters. And I want to delve here a bit. The question of the economy must be addressed. And Martha Karua, because of her low background and the political stand and more of her personal demeanor, she speaks less of the economy, but she speaks about corruption, which also touches it. But then Raila will then address the economy. Number two, Raila Odinga had a complicated Mount Kenya equation for the first time facing a general election. In 2013, there was tyranny of numbers, and Raila will do little to win a vote from Mount Kenya. Same to the 2017. But 2022, I think the equation has changed. And this is why the equation is a bit complicated. There is William Ruto has made inroads in his traditional fan bases, that is Western Coast, bit of Nairobi, small percentage in Nairobi, and other areas. Even though I agree that the inroads that William Ruto have made are squared off. But then William Ruto has also really based himself or anchored his base on Mount Kenya. That is the two aspect. So when you bring Martha Karua and this is where the gender card plays. The gender card might tilt the William Ruto's voting demographic in Mount Kenya. So if the 30%, the plot to get 30% will be one, if there are people who are going to vote for Raila Martha Karua because of the women agenda, because of the women card, that will be number one. Number two, Martha Karua must and is going to speak to the heart of Mount Kenya. Why? Uhuru Kenyatta may likely not play an active role in Raila Odinga's campaigns, especially in Mount Kenya. It is easy for Uhuru Kenyatta to be there for optics, to be in Raila Odinga's campaign trail for optics, especially outside Mount Kenya, so that he can convince Kikuyus really staying in Nairobi, Kikuyu staying in Mombasa, in other areas that might vote on that line. But in central Kenya, Raila needed someone that can be, in fact, when they go to Central, someone that can be the voice of Mount Kenya. The same way Rigathi Gachagua is championing for the right of the mountain. But then Martha Karua is also someone who is not only bogged on the Mount Kenya, but is someone who can that she's someone who can speak to the heart of the mountain. These are very critical aspects that has to play. The other two, I want to match them together. The euphoria on the presidential ticket is also very important. The first female deputy president will be very critical. And again, when Raila picks Martha Karua, then Kalonzo protests because he's not been picked. The narrative will shift that Kalonzo Musyoka is fighting Martha Karua. Now that will be number one. The second level of that narrative would be that Kalonzo Musyoka is not supporting women leadership. In fact, if I was Kalonzo Musyoka sitting in command center in Karen and I want to write my acceptance speech, I will say that because I accept and support the women of this country, I support Raila Odinga's push and shelve my running mate ambitions for Martha Karua. With that, he's also now building a good euphoria around Raila Odinga's running mate candidate. Lastly, if there will be a constitutional review process in Raila Odinga's government, that will be led by Martha Karua and not Raila Odinga. And I can believe that critically that is why Martha Karua is there. People might say that Martha Karua will not be party to such, but because she's a lawyer, she was on the other side, and then if she's tasked to lead a review process, taking in mind what the High Court had said initially in the initial agreement, then that process will get the sanity that it needs. And I know that deep down there, because if they happen to win, if they win the presidency, she will have the taste of power, and the BBI or any other review process that will expand executive and she spearheads it, she will spearhead it in the interest of Mount Kenya. With that, I see Martha Karua becoming a very critical tool for Raila Odinga's presidential bid. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my analysis, and I'm coming back with a bombshell on Rigathi Gachagua.